In the quiet village of Sangana, one rule had never been broken for generations: never enter the Igali forest after sunset. The elders said the forest was alive, listening, watching, waiting. They called it caste. But like every rule, someone would eventually break it. That someone was Timmy, a stubborn 17-year-old girl with a fierce spirit and a heart full of questions. Her younger brother, Bina, had disappeared 2 days earlier while searching for firewood, and the villagers had already given up hope. Igali Forest has claimed him, the elders said. But Timmy refused to accept that. On the third evening, as the sky turned deep purple, she wrapped a lantern in cloth, tied her grandmother's charm around her wrist, and stepped across the boundary into the forbidden forest. The moment she entered, the wind stopped. No insects. No birds. Only an uneasy silence that pressed against her ears. Tall ancient trees twisted overhead like frozen spirits, their trunks carved with strange symbols, circles, spirals, and eye-like markings that seemed to shift when she wasn't looking. Timmy called out, "Bina." Her voice echoed in a strange, mocking way. Then she heard it, a faint cry. A child's voice. "Bina." She ran toward the sound, branches scratching her arms, roots grabbing at her ankles. The deeper she went, the darker the forest became, even though her lantern still glowed. She burst into a clearing and found Bina sitting beneath a massive iroko tree, his eyes blank, staring into nothingness. Before she could reach him, a whisper slithered through the air. "Leave the child." Cold wind circled her, and from the shadows emerged a tall figure with white eyes, covered in dark feathers, holding a staff carved with tiny wrinkled faces. A forest guardian. A spirit of Igali. "You humans broke the oath," it hissed. "Your ancestors promised never to step foot here again." "My brother is innocent," Timmy said, her voice trembling. "Release him." "I offer you a choice," the spirit replied. "Take him and leave, but one of you must stay." Her heart pounded as the charm on her wrist glowed faintly. Still, she shook her head. There must be another way. The spirit lifted its staff, and images flashed in her mind: ancient villagers cutting sacred Igali trees, hunters killing spiritual animals, a broken pact sealed in blood. The curse wasn't meant to punish. It was meant to protect the last ancient forest from destruction. "If the curse is to protect Igali," Timmy said softly, "then let me restore the pact." The spirit paused, studying her. "You would do that, for a forest that is not yours." "For my brother," she said, "and for the land we live on." The forest seemed to exhale. Vines loosened around Bina as color returned to his face. The spirit dropped a glowing seed from the iroko tree into Timmy's hands. "Plant this at the edge of Sangana. Promise that Igali Forest will never be harmed again. If the oath is broken, the curse will return." "I promise," Timmy whispered. The guardian vanished into mist. Bina blinked as if waking from a dream. "Sister, how did we get here?" "Let's go home," Timmy said, tears blurring her vision. They returned to Sangana at sunrise. The villagers gasped. No one had ever returned from Igali Forest alive. Timmy planted the glowing seed at the village boundary, and by nightfall it sprouted into a small tree with shimmering leaves. From that day on, Igali remained peaceful. But some nights, when the moon was full, villagers said they heard whispers in the wind, gentle, watchful. A reminder that the forest was alive. And the curse was only sleeping. 4 months after Timmy restored the pact, peace returned to Sangana. The tree she planted, the one with shimmering leaves, stood proudly at the village boundary like a guardian. People stopped whispering about the Igali curse. Some even believed it was gone forever. But Timmy knew better. She still heard the forest at night. Soft whispers. Rustling footsteps. Sometimes her name, spoken by a voice that wasn't human. She kept it to herself, until the night everything changed. It was the coldest night Sangana had felt in years. The moon hid behind thick clouds, and the wind carried a strange metallic smell, like old blood. Timmy woke up coughing, choking on air that felt too heavy. She hurried outside, and froze. The glowing tree she had planted was no longer shimmering. Its leaves had turned pitch black. Its trunk pulsed like a beating heart. Then it cracked. A long split ran through it, oozing thick, dark sap that bubbled like something alive. Timmy took a step back. The sap whispered. The pact is broken. Her blood ran cold. Who had broken it? A sharp scream tore through Sangana. Then another. Then many. People ran out of their houses, pointing toward Igali Forest. A dark mist rolled out of the trees, swallowing the moonlight. Inside the mist, shapes moved, tall, twisted silhouettes with glowing white eyes. Timmy recognized them instantly. The Guardians. But not as she had seen them before. They were angry. Deformed. Hungry. One of them stepped out of the fog, dragging something. A human. Timmy's breath caught. It was Bina. His eyes were wide with terror. Sister, run. The Guardian threw him on the ground like a rag doll. You broke the oath, it growled. Timmy shook her head violently. I didn't. I kept my promise. The spirit pointed its long, twisted claws toward the blackened tree. One among you approached the sacred boundary with fire. A flame touched the roots. The forest burns in places unseen. The pact is dead. Timmy's heart dropped. Someone from the village had tried to burn Igali. And now everyone would pay. The mist burst forward. Villagers tried to run, but the fog wrapped around their legs like living ropes. Cries echoed as people were dragged toward Igali, pulled into the darkness one by one. Timmy grabbed Bina, trying to lift him, but his body was heavy, like something clung to him from the inside. Timmy, he whispered weakly. I heard them calling me again. His voice wasn't fully human anymore. Timmy staggered back. No, Bina. Stay with me. But he smiled faintly. The forest remembers me. Then the shadows rose behind him, towering, skeletal figures woven from vines and black smoke. They wrapped around Bina, lifting him gently, almost lovingly. His last words were a soft, eerie whisper. Don't follow me. And he was gone. The main guardian appeared again, its eyes hollow and burning. Timmy of Sangana, you restored what you could. But your people have broken the pact. The forest demands balance. Timmy fell to her knees. Take me. Leave the others. The spirit leaned close. Its cold breath brushed her cheek. You were never the sacrifice, child. You were the witness. It placed a dark seed, twisting, pulsing, into her hands. Plant this in the center of Sangana. The forest will reclaim what was taken. Let the village return to the land. Timmy looked back at her home, people screaming, houses collapsing under the weight of crawling roots, the sky dark with ash-like spores. There was no saving them. Her fingers tightened around the seed. She walked to the center of Sangana. The ground trembled beneath her feet. And she planted it. The earth split open. Vines erupted, swallowing the houses, the screams, the people. Igali Forest surged outward like a living beast finally freed from chains. Timmy stood still as the roots wrapped around her ankles, her waist, her chest. She didn't fight. The forest whispered. Thank you. And Timmy disappeared beneath the roots. By sunrise, nothing remained of Sangana. Only trees. Ancient, towering trees with dark leaves that shimmered faintly. Travelers passing the region now say there is a new forest growing beside Igali, dense, silent, watching. They say if you stand at its edge at night, you will hear two voices whispering. A girl's soft promise. And a boy's warning. Do not enter. The forest remembers.